let's try and make some money. So welcome back to EveryTrade Behind the Build, episode 99. One away from the big 100. If you'd asked me all that time ago, would we be here in 100 episodes, I would have believed you, because I'm naive like that, and you need that bit of naivety in business. But did I think where we'd be? Maybe not. Did we think we'd spend all this money on kit? Maybe not, but we have. And here we are, as you can see, we are trying our absolute best to process everything we've got here. The machine is working, I'd say. Our soil factory, our hardcore factory, is doing what we intended it to do. And you know what? I love it. I love being actually in this very spot because you get a full vantage point of the yard. What we're trying to do at the moment is we're going to hire in a crusher from a guy, actually, he's one of our subscribers, the Wade Group, really nice guy. Done a bit of business with him. He's bought some stuff from us, we're going to grab for him. And we're doing a deal where we're going to get his crusher. We'll probably hire it on a monthly basis, but in return, we're going to spray it his company colours. His branding's really strong. So what we're trying to do at the moment is screen as much of our spoil pile as possible and get a big pile of hardcore, because apparently his crusher, which is a hook loading one, so you can't really move it, but it romps through 60 to 80 tonne an hour at 40 mil down, he reckons. So I think what we're going to do is make a mixture of 6F2, so a larger oversized stuff, but also some smaller 40 mil down, which is our main product. And then if we run out of 40 mil down, then we'll just make it ourselves in our little crusher. But yeah, the Dig and Alan and Dave and Terry are absolutely smashing it. And it's hard to appreciate on camera, but the inroads we've made in this yard have been amazing and buzzing. But let's have a look around. It's really interesting spending a full day in the yard. You get to sort of understand the mechanics more, and what is good, because our main HQ is about 10 miles away from our actual yard, I've managed to get cameras pretty much everywhere now. And again, I've said this before, but it's not to spy on the guys, but it's for me to really understand what's going on the factory floor. I've always wanted a factory. I've always wanted to have a product where something comes in that end and something of value comes out the other. Our business on the construction side, we do make things, obviously, and we turn out an end product, but it's not really a manufacturing company. I always wanted that, so this is my version of it. And to see it on camera and now then see it in the flesh, it's great. Everything that we've sort of mapped out is coming together. It makes a big difference with it not being raining because the ground is a lot firmer. So yeah, this is our crusher. It's great. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not up to the job. It's a brilliant mid-size crusher. It's great for when we first started out. It was a good graduation from the Tiger bike we used to have, but it just can't romp through the hardcore as quickly as we need to keep up with the demand, which is great. It's a nice problem to have, but also it's a bit of an expensive problem to have. We're making quite a lot of products, you know, that's probably half a day's worth of crushing there, but what we need is a system that keeps up with the K4 screener. So that absolutely can screen like nearly 300 tons an hour. It's unbelievable. But what it doesn't do, obviously, is remove things like rebar and stuff like that, whereas a bigger crusher usually has an overband mag belt, which will take the metal out as well. So yeah, we'll get there, but I'm not pushing the button on buying one. I'm gonna do deals, I'm gonna hire them where needed, and just try and see how it goes with that. In our construction business, we've started a little project this week, and again, I don't often bring the little projects for you guys. We've got a small projects team, and they're the bread and butter of this company. Those sort of like 5K 10k, 20k jobs where we can turn them around in 1 to 2 weeks. Structural works. When we first started out, that was the main type of work we did. Well, we started another one. I'm going to call it Project SK2. It's a kitchen knock through, nice and easy, and the boys are over there now, so let's go and have a look. And if we make good progress, we might pop back there later on in the episode. So we're slowly getting this yard established, getting our signage up now, got some health and safety stuff up. As I've mentioned in a few of the episodes, we've definitely got a fundamental issue with not being good enough with our health and safety. As an owner of the business, as I always say in almost every episode now, I want all my guys to go home safely back to their families. But I also know that isn't always enough, and there's basic things that we need to do to comply. You are going to see issues in our videos because we're not there yet, but what we are trying to do now is own the situation. And by the way, I'm wearing these glasses because it's really dusty in here today, not trying to be clever. But we've engaged a health and safety guy. I'll talk more about it later in the episode, and it's an ongoing thing. He's doing a roots and branches look at us, and we are trying to do our best, and I promise hopefully you guys will see an improvement. I know that there's loads of building companies out there, small building companies like us, that don't involve with any health and safety, and I know the ones out there are absolutely brilliant. I want us to feel and act like we're much bigger than we are. Yeah, I want us to take every precaution, not just because we're out there on YouTube, just because I want everyone to go home to their families at the end of the day. I also believe that when you're going for bigger contracts like we are, that you need that level of professionalism. So I know you guys, some of you are watching, and I know that the intentions are good. I appreciate the constructive feedback, and honestly, we are trying to act upon it. That's the good thing about YouTube. One of many good things is that it forces you to take action. So yeah, we're gonna hold our hands up and deal with it, and hopefully you guys are gonna really see the progression. Might talk about it more in the episode. But over in Liverpool on Project Adelaide, which I know is gonna probably embarrass me now, it's gonna be loads of health and safety issues. However, we're making some good progress over there, so let's go have a look and see how we're getting on with Mr. Riddick.
So we're just back on Project Adelaide, which is our HMO, and we're coming to the final stages of it now. All the steps being tiled, I'm just checking here. But let's go and have a nose inside and then look outside afterwards. So, as we're inside now, you can see it's coming very, very close to being finished now. It just needs to be painted. So all the second fix joinery's more or less done, just the handles to go on. We've done our little feature wall there, so this time round we've just done battens, which we've done on a property before in the past, which is Granville Road, and we put the Emperor letters on. This time round we're going to have an Emperor sign that's going to be lit on there as a bit of a feature, which will be decent. Obviously that'll just be all painted the same colour as the walls, sign will then go on top. In the kitchen, the appliances are all now fitted and in. Splashback's been done. Tiles are a nice match with the worktops. Them tiles are actually the same tiles that are on the floor that we normally do, so if we have any surplus tiles or anything extra that we've ordered over, we'll always try and use them same tiles then on the splashback, providing that it matches in with the worktop. I like to try and keep it all looking the same and looking very decent. So that's a close match, that's good, nice. So as I say, we've just got the cooker hood to do there, and I think that needs to go higher there, to be honest with you. Looks too low, that for me. He's under the tile on that. Speak to Kristen. But yeah, looking good. Rob and Matt are here now, the joiners from Manchester. They're just doing the headboards. I'd say on the headboards we built them up, put LED lights behind, so they're doing the framework on them now. So you can see the frame going on for the headboard, so obviously that's where the bed's going to go, your bedside lights there, switches, sockets, and the headboard will go on there with an LED strip all the way around, which is backlit then, which they can control from here, and have another little controller that'll go on the wall to change the colour of it. So nice big oversized headboards again, which is what we're doing. We roll out on all the properties now we do, whether students or professionals. And again, this will be a nice room once it's all done and cleaned down. All the lads are just working through their final bits now to get out the way. We'll then clean down properly, get rid of all the dust, and then the painters will then start and come down painting. The only thing left to be done is the final second fix electrical bits, which is like the smoke heads, bits like that. Second fix the bathrooms and put the radiators on the walls. But as I say, we want to get some paint on the wall first, get the routes on, and then I'm ready to roll. Yeah, we'll move it over here and do that, if you want. Centraliser.
Yeah, that's all.
Because the telly's going to be off that anyway now. The telly will go from that to the door.
Yeah. Oh.
And then there on, yeah, that's sound, isn't it?
Alright.
Has he fished that for you, has he, Kev? So you can see as well, our little feature wall that we always tile right the way up has been done. Nice herringbone style tile. Tried to do a little bit different. I think the grout's a little bit too light for me, like, but it is what it is now. I always try and check it off, but it has to stay the way it is. Could have been doing it a little bit darker so it matches in with the tile better, but just needs a little polish down. It's nice, but again, put this in to stop any marks from up the wall. It's easy every year for us when we do the maintenance to not have to deal with this wall, and it's a nice feature when you come in for people to see. First impressions when you come in the house. So yeah, another bedroom with the headboard, timber now done. Nice to see it all coming together. All the doors up here have already got most of the handles on, to be fair, so not much left for Ross and Ray to do on the second fix. Couple little infill panels to do, bit of filler pieces and stuff, ready for the painters. And then as I say, other than that, just clear down. Floors are all in. So yeah, getting there. Looking forward to seeing it getting painted. So yeah, looking outside, it's all more or less boxed now. That metal bar's gone, painted down, put a new grille on the front, even though it's not venting anything out. It's just that the existing bathroom used to be there, and rather than trying patching the brickwork, we've put that on instead. Otherwise it probably looks better having that than mismatched brick. Tiling's nearly done on the front step. Paul's just got to do a little bit more grouting, and then all the concrete is done on the front, because there used to be a basement that went down there. We backfilled it and poured it and done our little print. Just need to seal that through. Outside light needs to go on, and then silicone up the windows, and we're all done. Jobs are good. So yeah, can't wait till it's finished, to be honest with you, and we can focus on new projects. Feels like we've been on here for ages, even though we haven't, because we've been on other jobs. Can't wait to see it finished and tenants going in, because as I say, like the one you've seen over there, 54 Adelaide, which you seen last year. It's one of them things, you spend a lot of time on these jobs and then you just don't go in them ever again, or you see them like once a year. Mad. But yeah, be another one done, banged in the portfolio, earning us money. So with all that being said, and you're back over to Manchester.
That actually smells quite good for a Portaloo. So this was one of my auction purchases. I don't know if I've talked about this before. I bought it for the yard because we didn't have access to any decent welfare facilities. They're about a mile down the road. Well, now we've got them sorted, so we don't need it anymore. At one point I thought I'll buy Portaloos for all our sites, because we spend about probably about £2 a month on them. And I know the contact where they can come and clean them out, 20 quid a time. But you know what? I've decided I'm not going to try and be everything to everyone. I'm going to let other people make some money. We've got a good supply chain for toilets. So I'm going to put it on eBay, but I'll give you guys, my loyal subscribers, the chance. If anyone wants a really good condition Portaloo, then give us a shout. Smells nice. That's the nicest smelling Portaloo I've ever smelled. Over on Project Mellowstone, which is one of our garage conversion projects, so we've designed this, TB designed it, and we've built it. We've been there a couple of times in the episode. The plasterers have been in, the tilers have done their bit. We're nearly finished on that now, and I do love these smaller projects because they're good for cash flow and the customers are absolutely made up with what's actually not a massive investment for a big payoff. So let's go and see Matty Gratty do his thing and fit the external doors. there now, the soil that's coming off the soil belt, screened to a nice 10mm. It's a really nice product. A little bit of grit in it, but it's good for drainage, and the feedback we're getting from the landscapers we're sending it out to, they're really happy with it. Off that belt there, it's coming like a smaller 10mm, actually a little bit bigger, maybe a 15-20mm stone, but it's, like I said before, it's wrapped in soil, so we're having to put that through a few times, but it actually really cleans up nicely. Then off this belt is the oversized crushable stuff, which it is really good. Probably still a bit of grass and a little bit of wood and stuff like that coming through it, but by the time we get to the point where it's crushed, it's a good product. What we need to do is get the trommel back working again, because then that used to really knock off the last of it. Oh, I love it, the sound of industry. What isn't great is this. Not good when you've got plastic on a window. Uncle Terry had a little accident there and knocked that, but these things happen. We've sorted it, we've ordered another one, 500 quid. Love yard life, but yeah, it's doing its thing, I love it. Let's make some money. Back tomorrow. I'll sort it now. So, good morning. Or is it? Just had a little bit of bad news there. We've got that 6-wheeler grab. A few of you might remember. We bought it. It was ex-fleet for council. Someone rang me and said, I've got a really good deal. It's come back off long-term hire. Do you want it? I bought from that guy before, so I know it's going to be a good truck. And we got it. Got it wrapped. Straight away, though, someone approached me and said, would you consider putting it on a long-term hire? We did the numbers, it actually really stacks up. It was meant to be sort of a backup for us in case the 8x4 was off the road, and there has been times where we've missed it, but we've managed to muddle through, and essentially that truck's being paid for by this hire. But the deal that I did, we took it off our operator's license, put it on theirs, they're insuring it, essentially it's their truck. However, we're still PMIing it, and we're maintaining it, which maybe looking back I shouldn't have done. I should have basically said to them, you're responsible for all that. Well, we've just had a phone call, a bit of a weird one, a complaint from a service station garage or something up in Preston, say one of our grabs is just literally dumped there. So we've done a bit of digging. Anyway, turns out it had broken down last night, and the guys managed to get it to a garage or something, or a petrol station, but it won't start. Dale thinks it's an issue with the ignition, so we're going to have to go up there now, try and sort this. Hopefully, if it needs a part, be able to get the part. Dale's pretty confident he knows what part it is. And luckily, up in Preston, it's where Transparts are based, where we buy our HGV bits and pieces. So that's the guy that is the sponsor for World of Fabric. I mentioned him in last week's video. Service is great, and they have a great range of parts for cars and vans in place. So luckily, we've got Dale. I'm going to dispatch him up there now. He doesn't know it. He's going now yet, but I'm going to let him know. He's going to dispatch up there, try and get it out the way, and hopefully then arrange for a driver to bring it back. I tell you what, running trucks is no walk in the park, but we move. Dale, can you come upstairs, please, mate?
Hi guys, so yesterday evening, well, early evening, got a call off a company that we've hired our 6-wheel DAF to. They've stopped at services and they cannot turn the key in the ignition, so it won't start. So it is stuck in a services. Obviously I didn't have time yesterday to get over there. They managed to get a spare key over to them and it didn't work. So I'm gonna head over there now and have a quick look and see if I can sort of, you know, get the key turning. Failing that, I have ordered a new ignition barrel, so we will fit that worst case. So follow me. So I've made it to Preston. It's not in the best places. And yeah, isn't the best in there either, but we've managed to get a new ignition barrel. So I'm just going to try and pull all this shroud off here and around here and undo this. It comes with a new key which will need coding, but I'm hoping because we've still got the original keys it should still start, because it'll sort of transpond and it'll recognise the key still here. So I am just going to pull this to bits and see how I get on. that was a bit difficult. So at the minute I have managed to get the ignition, the new ignition, plugged in. Not managed to get it bolted on yet, but clocks had to come out, plug was right down here. So because the steering sort of air controls here that make so you can move the steering wheel up and down, basically because I couldn't get it aired up and I've got no compressed air with me or proper compressor to get the wagon aired up again, I've had to use my little, bit messy down there, Milwaukee pump onto a vac line which feeds this switch, in which allows you to move the steering wheel like this. Because it's saying now there's 58 psi in there, it's dropping a little bit, but 58 psi in there, which is allowing me to move the steering wheel so I could get the shroud off, get everything else off. So yeah, was a tad difficult, but I managed it. So I'm just going to try now to get the ignition barrel off, which I believe, well, what looks like anti-theft bolts or nuts in there, should I say. So may struggle with that as well, but at least I've got it running. So it is running now, and I can give office a call and get them to send someone over to drive it back. So yeah, nightmare, but let's crack on and still get it done.
Tell you what, it is busy today. KTM has gone away, so we're all kind of holding the fort. Got Bernie Wood on the camera. I've come in the meeting room for a little bit of quiet time to go through some health and safety stuff, which I might touch on later. Really trying our hardest behind the scenes to get our act together once and for all for that. So I've engaged a consultant, which I think I've mentioned, but he's done like an initial assessment, and it is pretty detailed, to be honest. We've got a lot to do. So working on that, just need to get my head in gear for that. What has been nice is a lot of you guys have reached out to me. You know, as I've mentioned the last couple of weeks, there's been some sort of negative feedback, some trolls, particularly leaning on, you know, the Asheville thing, which is it's nuts really. So going to put that in the past. But you know what? I got a message on my Insta, my personal Insta, from one of you guys, someone that watches. And you know what? It was just really nice. It basically saying, as you know, a lot of people said, ignore all the haters and that, and that's great, but saying that what our episodes mean to him and what part of his week watching not only EveryTrade, but the preferred joinery episode, which should be out now, by the way, so get it watched. And it's nice that, you know, these are the people that never comment on the videos, yet they'll still watch it and they still enjoy it. In my head, I sometimes think, God, if they haven't commented, they don't like it. But yeah, it's nice to know that there are people out there that do really enjoy our content and it means something to them. So thank you to all the people that have reached out, and I'm glad that people are finding our stuff not only entertaining, but helpful. If you are in business, doesn't matter what your business is, or you are a tradesman or whatever, it's great to know that what we're trying to put out there is helping people. Honestly, all I want for these vlogs, like I've said all along, is just to sort of tell our story. And I'm trying my hardest to be as honest and as open as I can. Probably been too open and honest in the past, which has cost us, and we've lost out on opportunities because you put yourself out there and people jump on things. But yeah, if you are enjoying it, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's nice because literally we're nearly at 100 episodes. So thank you. I love these screens. Honestly, I've got an idea for more, but I just need to work out how we're going to do it from a hardware point of view, because the way I've set it up is each one of these two screens is linked to one computer, because they only have two outlets. And I think we're actually rinsing the internet in here because it's slowing right down. So I'm trying to work on that. But I've got ideas for more screens, more on the grab side and things like that. But what I have noticed by looking through our daily logs, which runs on this piece of software we use to manage our projects, I can see basically in real time where our projects are up to. Obviously I've got it on my phone as well, all the guys have got it, but this in the office just gives us reminders and sort of lets me know and lets everyone in the office know where each job is up to at the end of each day. But what I can see if I go further down is that on project Wilmslow, the boys are getting the steel in for the next floor to go in. So we've got the first floor in, now we need to get the second floor in, get the steel in, then we can measure for the posi joists, get them ordered. They're on 5-day lead time, and then we can get them in next week. So let's go over to Wilmslow Road and have a look and see how the boys are getting on. It sounds good. I know it does sound good, but the problem is we can't price it without seeing the drawings. Oh, so you've got drawings? Yeah, but have you actually completed on it yet? No. Okay, so are you know, how far down the process are you actually committed to buying it? Yeah. I know, but it's not really fair for us to do all that work if you might just not buy it. I know it's hard, I get it. It is hard because you don't know what things are going to cost, but at the same time, you know, we've got to pay our people and we can't just sit there and do work for free if you don't actually end up completing on it. I know. I'm not trying to be unhelpful, but honestly, it's just not worth it. It's not fair on us. Yeah, well, go on the website, like I've said, yeah, EveryTrade.co.uk, and on that you can attach the drawings, put an inquiry in, and then I'll get our estimators to have a look, and then I'll give you a price to actually estimate on the job. Yeah, I don't know, I'll have to see it before I can give you a price, and then I'll let you know. And then if you go ahead with the job, we'll refund you that or knock it off the job. Yeah, all right. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, all right, thanks, bye. You're recording, yeah? So, that was a typical situation that we must get 3 or 4 times a week. Well done for TB for thinking about picking up the camera. But basically, someone called with an inquiry, big HMO, local to us. On the face of it, sounds like a mega job, but something just didn't sound right. And what we got to the bottom, what our kid picked up on there, was that they hadn't actually completed on the purchase yet. So I got the phone. I don't normally answer the phone or pick it up when it's a normal inquiry like that, but I just thought, no, I'm going to speak to this person and just try and see if I can fish it out. And yeah, he basically said he's not completed on the property, but he couldn't really get his head around why we wouldn't give him a price to do the work. So I was like, it's going to take 2 days to price a job like that up. And then he's just going to use it to stack the deal and see if it's worth him investing. He's like, well, how do I know if it's worth investing? I was like, I know, but you can't expect us to give our professional services for free. I'm just not going to do it. I used to do it, and you do feel like you're not helping, and maybe he won't come back to us now. He says he's going to email it in. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but he's miles off buying that property yet. So why would we basically become part of his professional services team free of charge and then basically work out whether that is an investment he should be making? So yeah, it's frustrating, but I know there needs to be a shift in industry pricing for quotes and estimates, because we should be getting paid for it, because we're giving up our time and our expertise. And here, you know, I've got offices, I've got staff, Danny, all these people that need to be paid. So what other business would just give out their expertise and services for free? I know it's an emotive subject, but it's tough, but well done for picking up on it, and well done for filming it, TB. It's one of them, but we'll see if he comes back. Could be a good job, might work out well, but not doing it anymore. It's not worth it. With the events of recent weeks in our industry, should we say, it's made me and Alex really review where we're at financially from a business point of view. And what we've been doing, which is something that we should have done ages ago, is getting all of our assets itemised, getting a value against them, and then stating whether they're on hire purchase or finance lease. I'll explain about that a little bit in a minute. And we spoke to our accountants about it, and they were like, oh, you've got stuff on hire purchase. And we were like, yeah. They go, oh, we thought all your stuff was on finance lease. You know, you can get some tax deducted from that and offset against your corporation tax bill, which they're working out right now. So we're like, what? We've had this for ages. Like, yeah, but we didn't know that's how you financed some of your stuff. So basically, in a nutshell, and I guess there'll be experts out there that'll correct me if I'm wrong, but if you buy something on hire purchase, essentially, it's your asset, you pay it off, and your final payment is your final payment. Often, what you can do is front load the VAT, and you can pay the VAT up front as a deposit, which is good. You can claim that back straight away. Sometimes you can do what's called a VAT deferral, where the deposit or the VAT gets deferred for 3 months. So you can time it right, so you get your asset, but you've got 3 months to find the VAT. And you can sort of time it to when your VAT quarter ends, put it in that there, and essentially it comes off your VAT bill. So we've used that tool quite effectively. But prior to me really realising how to do that, I used to buy a lot of our vans on what's called finance lease, which essentially the asset isn't yours, you're renting it from the finance company, albeit at the end there'll be a settlement figure which you can pay and purchase the asset. Or if you finish paying that and you don't give them a percentage of what the true market value is at the time, it's usually 5%, 2.5%, you have a secondary hire period, which means you pay them like a nominal figure once a year, which means you still don't own the asset, they do, and you're renting it back from them. It's usually like 1 month payment for the full year. So we went through and we own quite a lot on hire purchase, but most of it is on finance lease. So what I want to try and do is either pay the settlement figure and own the asset outright, or sell it and replace it, or get it onto hire purchase. So if the van has got quite low miles in good condition, the value's fair, we might refinance it onto hire purchase, and basically we know that at that point, maybe in 2-3 years time, the asset will be paid off. So yeah, we're going through all that, and we actually own a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we don't have any debt on. It's crazy really. I mean, I won't specify the exact amount, but we're getting close to £750,000, which is great. But obviously a lot of that is on finance. What I want to do is, with the work we've got booked in this summer, should be quite profitable if we do it right and we do a good job. Me and Alex, want to pay off a lot of debt where possible and get ourselves really lean for next year, that when you go into the quieter months, the winter months, where you really get the pinch on cash flow, we've got less committed overheads. So yeah, it's easy in business, especially when you're quite credit worthy. It's really easy. I could go out and buy a 200 grand, 300 grand crusher now. I know I'd get the finance because I've been told, you know, we're pre-approved at a few decent lenders. But you'll take it and you think, yeah, it's only 2 grand a month, it'll be fine, 3 grand a month, whatever it is. But then it's when work quietens down, or you don't sell as much product as you thought you would, then that's when they really bite those things. And that's probably what's happened to a few of the businesses that have struggled or have gone into administration. So yeah, I'm going to try and get rid of a lot of these. And a few of them, there's only small payments. Like one of the vans here, we only owe 2 grand, so we might just settle that and get rid of it. That'll save us £323 a month, which, yeah, you know, I don't really want to spend 2 grand now, but it's worth doing. Then there's a couple, one's got like 7 grand left on finance lease. So we haven't really got an end date in mind, but we might bang that onto hire purchase, and then we know that in 3 years' time, pretty much paying the same payments we're paying now, we'll have that paid off. So yeah, boring for some, but interesting for others. But what's happened recently in the wider world has definitely made me think, that's the dig, I need to speak to him, has made me think that we need to get nice and lean. Times like this make you really focus on the numbers, and the devil is always in the detail, which is always in the numbers. Let's go back to Project SK2. Let's go back to Project SK2, which I appreciate isn't a massive project, but again, it's very typical of the type of smaller stuff we have going at EveryTrade. So yeah, let's go have a look and see how the boys are getting on there. Hello. Good when Bernie Wood's on the camera because he's just saying we should talk about this and I forget. But basically, I'm just transferring some money over to our Capital on Tap card. Now, I'm not sponsored by these. I mentioned the Capital on Tap card early on in the episodes and I keep forgetting to mention it. But basically, it's a business credit card. It's brilliant. The guys just asked me to transfer 5k over there now. They've got to pay for some skips and stuff. But what it is, you earn 1% cash back. Pretty much, if you get accepted, they'll give you a tasty limit, usually about 30 to 70 grand. We've got about 70 grand, I think, as our credit limit. But the idea is, we just keep it as a revolving payment card. We don't use it as a credit card. We almost use it as like a charge card. So if the guys need to pay for the building materials or anything like that, I'll send the money over, or KTM sends the money over, and then we earn 1% cash back on that. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. We spent, about 2.5 million on building materials this financial year, and so of that we've earned over 20 grand back, which I'll use that as like a thing to pay for bonus things like the private number plates or uniform for the guys or a bit of kicks. It almost feels like you're getting it for free. Now, what I will say is if you use it like any other credit card and you don't pay it off, you'll pay interest. And the idea is you want to try and clear the balance each month. But what it does, it gives you that little level of flexibility so that if you don't clear the balance, you've got a month or whatever or 2 months before you really start racking up serious interest. But do try and pay it off. But it's just a really good tool. And what it's nice as well, if you do your own VAT returns or you reconcile your own bank statements, it's quite nice for that as well, because rather than having loads of transactions on your bank statement, you've literally got one or two. So when we're doing our VAT return, we can say that if it's Capital on Tap, by and large, it's building materials, and we can classify it like that. So it makes that thing a lot neater as well. So yeah, it's basically free money in my eyes. I would honestly recommend it. And I know 84 of you guys have signed up because I've had 84 referral fees and 75 quid each, so it's not a bad little earner. Say we're not sponsored by him, but the good thing is you also earn 75 quid as well. So yeah, if you've not got one and you're a limited company, because you've got to be limited, have a look in our description below. The link's down there. It's been there for ages. Honestly, it's free money and it's easy as well. And you'll get a credit limit so you can use it to help grow your business. You can pay the HMRC with it as well. So it's a really, really handy tool. We've got it in a few of our businesses now. And I know a lot of you guys are really benefiting from it as well. So yeah, not sponsored by them or anything, but if you need extra capital or you just want to earn 1% cash back, then do it. I think that is pretty much it for this episode of EveryTrade. Bernie Wood has done a good job filming the bits and pieces for us today. Busy week this week. I think what we'll do is, though, we'll go back to the yard one more time to see what's happening. Yep, the guys are hard at it, processing. And I know a lot of you guys love the yard content. So yeah, have a great week. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks so much for the new viewers. Hope you like the kind of content we're putting out there, which is just basically behind the build, what it's like trying to run and grow a construction and property business. But yeah, back next week. Have a great weekend. Spend some time with your family and let's make loads of money. Pub. Again. Let's do it.